Hello and welcome to Spotlight on Westminster. This is where we provide an update on everything the Thames Valley's MPs have been up to over the past month. It was planes, trains and automobiles in Westminster this month, whilst Alok Sharma, the MP for Reading West Conservative, flew around the world on aeroplanes to talk climate change with various world leaders. The build for the next phase of HS2 between the West Midlands and Crewe secured royal assent. Now, unsurprisingly, this milestone was not welcomed by all members of Parliament in the Thames Valley, and instead a chorus of resistance, reproach and resignation swept across much of the valley. On the 19th of January in the Commons, in a debate on the subject, John Redwood, the MP for Wokingham, Conservative, unequivocally set out his stall, stating that the whole project needs reappraising, as there will inevitably be a change in commuting patterns post-pandemic. Now, in the same session, Cheryl Gillan, Conservative MP for Chesham and Amersham, called it the most expensive way to destroy lives and homes. A few days later, Greg Smith, the Conservative MP for Buckingham, called for a full debate in Parliament on HS2, as a recent petition opposing the line had reached the 100,000 signature threshold to trigger another debate. Needless to say, Cheryl Gillan echoed his position and said he spoke for every MP across Buckinghamshire. Now in Slough, Tanmanjeet Singh Desi, the Labour MP, criticised a purported reluctance from the government to commit to delivering the line in full, specifically referencing the leg to Leeds. As he said, they need to ensure that northern towns and cities properly benefit. Boris Johnson has since confirmed at Prime Minister's questions that the government does intend to develop the whole of HS2. Now, staying with rail infrastructure, the government recently announced funding for the next phase of East-West Rail between Bicester and Bletchley, which has been warmly welcomed by many Conservatives across the valley. In northern Buckinghamshire, Ben Everett, who's the Conservative MP for Milton Keynes North, and Ian Stewart, the Conservative MP for Milton Keynes South, respectively branded the announcement as fantastic news and a huge boost. In Bicester, Conservative MP Victoria Prentice said it would reinforce the town's position as an attractive place to live and work. And in Henley, John Howell, Conservative, said it demonstrates the government's commitment to building back better. Now in Aylesbury, Conservative MP Rob Butler also supported the announcement, but he called for a vitally important spur, in his words, to Aylesbury. And Greg Smith sent a letter to East West Rail saying that it enjoys broad support, but that the manner in which it's being built is downright appalling. Labour's Shadow Chancellor Annalise Dodds, who's the MP for Oxford East, struck a less jubilant tone, saying that the decision to install diesel-based rail infrastructure demonstrates a waste of money, as it would cost more to electrify the line at a later date. And moving from planes and trains onto automobiles, Leila Moran, the Liberal Democrat MP for Oxford West and Abingdon, has been extremely vocal over the past month regarding the paused Oxford to Cambridge Expressway. She said it was incredibly disappointing that the government hadn't officially cancelled the plans, as pause means that go is still an option. And in the Commons on the 28th of January, she suggested that the government may be delivering the road by stealth, as smaller chunks of the road infrastructure continue to be built. And in other news, Matt Rodder, Labour MP for Reading East, has written to the Ministry of Justice asking them to allow more time for Reading Council to complete their bid to redevelop Reading Jail. He also remains deeply concerned about amended plans for redevelopment at Reading Golf Club. And at the beginning of February, Steve Baker, Conservative MP for Wickham, spoke about his desire to regenerate High Wycombe Town Centre, reiterating that he'd like lower business rates, fewer planning restrictions and properties returned to the private sector.